timing was so off.
Horrible.
So off.
Worst
Hello.
show ever.
I am redneck enough that I had to turn the dryer off so my internet would work. So there.
What? You use Wi-Fi?
Yes, I use Wi-Fi, and so yeah.
You got to stop using
Welcome
your neighbor's
to South
Wi-Fi.
Carolina, everybody. I think everybody just.
Good night, folks.
Oh,
That's it. We can't go any further than that. That's peak entertainment. Look, he's doing it right now.
He's in a Zen trance right now. All right. All right. So thanks for tuning in. And we have a special guest for this show, which he's in the center center top. Nick, who is a local Atlantean Lego builder. And one of the reasons that he's on tonight is to talk about his experience with the Lego Masters TV show, which up until recently was filmed here in Atlanta. We're hearing rumors that the next season is going to be filmed in Australia, down under. So first of all, why don't you introduce, like, when did you get into Lego, and do you have a favorite theme? Tell us about your habits as a Lego builder, and then we'll talk a little bit about your experience as a prop assistant. Prop assistant.
Okay,
builder.
yeah. So I grew up in Brevard, North Carolina, and there's this toy store there called O.P. Taylor's. It's one of the best toy stores you could imagine. Full of Lego, all sorts of like old wooden toys, that kind of stuff. That's where I got introduced to Lego, and I did, some of this. It was always the smaller, like the pirates and the castle sets, and always loved Lego growing up. I always think about it. I had a friend that used to build based on the picture on the box, and I thought it was crazy for that. They give you the instructions, just use those, and then here I am doing mocks now instead. But I kind of had some dark ages in my like late 20s to early 30s,
As most people do.
I got out of it for a bit. Yeah. Still always had kept some of my sets around, but I got a phone call from my best friend from like middle school and high school one day, just saying, "Hey, I'm working on this show. Do you want to come help out?" Yeah, absolutely. And came down, and I'd never made a mock before I even stepped on set for that show.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah,
Baptism by fire.
It just, yeah, it really was. And the way that kind of started doing mocks on there was like, hey, we don't have much of a budget in the art department. Can you just make this out of Lego so we don't have to buy it? And it just kind of steamrolled with that. But yeah, it really pulled me back into like it pulled me into being an AFOL really. And I thoroughly enjoyed getting back into it and feeling creative again. And yeah, mocks have become my favorite thing to do at this point. As far as themes go, it's like icons and botanicals because I like the realism stuff.
Okay.
I kind of got into that from doing props for the show.
And certainly for the show, you're doing a lot of sculptural type stuff. So you're building 3 dimensions with stuff with volume and color and that kind of thing. So it has to look good on camera.
Yeah, well, we do have a saying that it's good enough for TV because a lot of that stuff just blends into the background.
That's fair.
They pump that atmosphere, the fog up, and you just don't see a lot.
You can't see the gaps.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because I joke with Stefan in the new Hashima group because he was up working on something and just totally messing with it, and I'm like, stop! I know it's going to bother you that's not right. No one else will know.
Yeah, nobody will see it.
You're right. And he moved on to something else. Yeah, I mean, there's so much, and I know it's got to be the same thing on the show. Is that there is so much going on that all those little details just get lost. They would get lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or,
and like,
they're not going to chew you out. If it looks good on camera, even if it's like not especially like solidly built, like you don't have to move it in a truck to a show. If you get the shot, that's probably all they care about, I'm assuming.
Yeah. And like a lot of the stuff does get chemically bonded.
Okay.
Use MEK to fuse it all together. not everything does. Sometimes it's last minute, like, hey, we need this 10 minutes ago. So, but most of the stuff gets chemically bonded.
So do you remember what was the first mock you made for the show? What did they say? Like, hey, can you just build X? Do you remember what that? Can you give us an example of like they were like, hey, can you make a bird?
The first one was a set of dumbbells that never got used, but it was going to be some gag with Will.
Okay,
that's how it always. Half the stuff you make doesn't, for any show, not just Lego Masters. Half the stuff that gets made just doesn't get used or seen or. But yeah, it was a set of dumbbells, very basic, like some black rounded. It's like the 6x6 brick with the corner cut off. Did some stacking of those and some 4x4 gray round brick. Just very basic. They looked like dumbbells, but I think the gag got cut. The first thing I made that really showed up in the show was on the finale of season 2. Was the champagne bottle that was sitting beside the milk and cookies. There was like a martini glass of milk and cookie. My buddy made the martini glass, and I did the champagne bottle.
So you said season 2. So were you watching each episode, hoping that something that you'd made it showed up, and then you're finally like, look, I made that. Elbowing if someone.
It's usually like that, because you never know what's going to get cut. I made it the first holiday special. I made so much stuff that never saw the light of day. Like I've got, let's see, where is it? I made a mistletoe for it that I still have. And I think they shot the thing and then it never ended up in the show. There's a lot of stuff like that. So like you're hoping it makes it in, and
because we've even had a lot of contestants who've been on here where there are certain things that they were hoping we get in the show that didn't make it on the show, and it's like very frustrating. So I can imagine spending, and those people were actually focused on, and here you're in the background doing stuff, and you need to get your stuff.
Yeah,
that's frustrating.
It's just how it goes with any show, really.
Yeah.
For reference, Chris is watching in the background, and he's the one popping up the messages on the screen, so that doesn't take as much internet. So I did ask him to reboot the microwave, plug the microwave to see if that would help.
That might do it.
Yeah,
you never know.
Might do it.
All right, so Chris is out. I'm going to pause just a second and give shout outs to our people in the chat. So Stever's here, Fall Equinox 37. I didn't know there were 36 prior fall equinoxes. But
it's Autumn. You know who she is.
I'm just making fun of them 37. Friday Night Bricks is here. Digital Starship, Brick Jedi, Katie Schutzkus, and Tim D. So thanks for
Moto.
Thanks for showing up. Moto's in there? Oh, there he is up at the top. I didn't see him. And Steve Jogan. I don't recognize that particular user, but I'll be honest, I don't watch the chat very carefully. So thank you for showing up. Now, I think VW had a question.
Yeah, I was just wondering how many people were actually on the build teams that you guys had to actually build all those models. Because if it took till the end of season 2 for something you built to come on, I'm assuming there was a bunch of you. But
so a lot of most of the big things get built out in LA and shipped to Georgia. Yeah.
Okay.
So like all the big giant set pieces, the big signs that drop in and out, and like the Lego Masters logos and stuff, that's all made by a really talented guy, Brandon Griffith, out in LA.
Okay.
I follow him on Instagram.
As far as
he's one of those guys that is dying to show
his shop. Yeah,
he's dying to show things and has to wait until the episodes air before he can show it. So as soon as they announce certain episodes, he's like, boom, he starts posting all this stuff. It's fantastic stuff.
What's Dana? Do you happen to know his Instagram handle in case anyone wants to follow him as well?
I will go looking for it. Hang on.
So how many people? So big things come from LA. So how many people? Was it just the two of you doing like some of the Lego prop stuff here in Georgia, or were there more?
I know he has a team he uses out there for the most part that helps him build things. Because the show is like crunch. Like they find out shortly before some episodes, like, hey, we need this made for it, or like an episode will change theme, and he has to kind of pivot for that. So mostly what I'm doing is like little hand props.
Okay.
Bigger stuff, like I did like Will's peg leg for the pirate episode, which was not glued and has fallen apart since. The go-karts for the NASCAR episode, those were like segways that you can buy a go-kart kit for. And
Okay.
I'm in the lot driving those around, but there's me and there's one other guy, my best friend Kyle, that would build stuff on our art team. And then there's a bunch of people on Challenge that would do testing, and sometimes they do like the little Lego learns that Amy and Jamie would do. They would mostly do those.
Which Jeff are we referring to? Stever.
Cross, I'd imagine.
Dana, what do you think? Is he talking about Jeff Cross? I would assume so.
He's probably talking about Jeff Cross.
Yeah, I've worked with Jeff a few times. He's awesome.
He's a friend of the show. We've actually had
Yeah.
we've broken bread with him while he's been in town.
Yeah, he's hung out.
Nice.
So the brick, were you working out of the same brick pit that the users, the contestants were using, or was there's like play brick for you to do sculpting, accessories, that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Did you have to tear? I know you glued some stuff, but was there like ripping things apart so you had brick to work with kind of cycle?
Yeah, so there's a lot more on set than is actually like in the brick pit, because with how quick it's filmed, there's a whole team that's tearing stuff down and resorting it back into the bins. So you have to have a lot on the back end to keep everything full. So there's so much in like the warehouse area that we were working in, I was working in typically, that just walk over to the challenge area and just grab what I need.
Okay.
So usually was not stuff from set unless it was like, hey, there's only X amount of this piece, so I have to go to set and get it like between a take.
Did you get to like watch some of the filming, or do they limit like access to the set, or do you have to be there in case they need something?
A little bit of both. They don't really limit access to the set. During early COVID, they did, of course, but yeah, for the most part, it's, at least for me, it's walk in, walk out. This last season, I was too busy to really watch a whole lot of it with these shorter episodes, but yeah, it was. Season 2 was really fun because it was my first time on a set period, and like watching stuff happen, like Caleb and Jacob with the RC car, where they got that boost from the Cyan build, and then immediately when they come out of the gate, they turn and just drop right off. And I was sitting on like just to the side of the stage, and we were all watching. It was just so funny in person to see that happen. It was amazing. We're like, this is great TV.
Yes, it was. Giddens asked if you ever had to get in a fight over a brick with a contestant.
No, I usually don't interact with the contestants a whole lot during the show, because they try to limit that with me knowing a lot of the stuff beforehand of what's going to happen. So it's just, yeah, trying to keep everybody in the dark on stuff.
Makes sense.
Well, I know that's one of the requirements that if you worked on the show behind the scenes, you could no longer audition to be on the show. So even though they keep you separated, there's still that separation of church and state after even, once you're involved.
Yeah.
Because you know too much.
Yeah, I could never be on it just because I've worked on it. So
yeah.
It seems like they're still actively, or at least this weekend, I saw them still actively trying to promote getting contestants for the next season. So it seems a little weird that they're this far into it and they're, like I think it's early July event in, or no, late June, I think, event in California.
Well,
I
not
think it's
California.
Yeah. Well, you also had to think about the fact that it's going to be in Australia, so
Yeah.
that kind of committing to the season now becomes even more so than just 6
You
weeks.
have to have a passport as well, right? Like,
Yeah, you have to be legally able to leave the country.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if they're having trouble getting people who can leave the country on that short of a notice. I mean, maybe that's why they're still out there banging the bushes. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean they've added another layer of complexity to get people on. Meredith, do you have any thoughts on that?
and you're muted.
You're muted, Mary.
So what I can say, it seems like, trying to put this delicately. Well, no, full disclosure, they tried hard to cast me for season 2. And I got some vibes that I was going to be typecast as a certain character, as kind of like the grumpy wife with the husband. And I'm just like, I'm going to go on national TV and do that. And I think they learned their lesson. Well, not they learned the lesson, but I think, since that, I know the casting company has changed. I think one of the casting people who was in charge went off and kind of like made his own casting group. And so he's kind of the big boss now. And, I think, over the last few seasons, he's been, I think they've gotten different direction, probably from Lego, probably from the producers. And yeah, and at least the impression I was getting, they were, full disclosure, I really wanted to do it this time. Unfortunately, I can't with work, which is probably another reason. It's just like not many people can take off that kind of time. And I had my surgery this year, so it was like I was out for a month. I can't, and then I wanted to go to, Brick World and all that. So I can't. But I again, from what they explained to me is, again, every season, I think they're trying to refine their process, have some learnings, and and then at the same time, again, there's a lot of AFOLs, and it's really exploded. But they're not just looking for AFOLs; they're looking for AFOLs that can mock, and that can be free and can have kind of, I call it, I don't want to say a shtick, but who are interesting individuals to have on TV. And we're in season 6 now. So again, that pool is not infinite. So yeah, that's my theory, and hopefully I won't get in trouble for discussing anything. But they just want to make the show as best as it can be, and sometimes it's to find the right people they're looking for. Who I thought I was going to be able to do it, and it turns out I'm not. So again, I'm sure there's other people like me who are like, they're all gung ho, and they're like, listen, I can't. So. Yeah, so that's my theory / the feelings I've gotten over it from the last 2 years. But I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do for season 6, because it's, if they're using that production, that we call it studio from Australia, Lego Masters, it's gonna be interesting to see the dynamic and if there's different things. So I'm excited to see what happens.
All right, I have returned. We'll see. Snuck in, as a fat white guy can. Anyway, so Katie asks.
Hampton does it every year.
Hey, I got my RC Cola power me. I'm okay. So Katie asked, though, do you have any stuff from the show that you can show and not be in trouble? They're like, wait, where did that go? And you got it. So obviously. Tens of people are watching right now, so watch yourself. All right, so
you're being generous.
Usually, most
people.
There's 20.
Oh, really? I don't get to see that number.
Yeah, I missed that. I missed that chat feature.
Yeah, I've got kind of a bin of goodies sitting in front of me right now.
We're gonna zoom in on you, Beauty. All right, there we go.
Okay. It's just a handful of stuff that I've made for the show. And usually when I make something, I make a lot of them. Like the most recent episode, the ring box. So I made a bunch of these
Ooh,
for the show.
pretty.
And they actually, don't topple over because they're filled with washers. There's a gap in the bottom, and you can't really see in there, but there's a gap under this, and then this is MEK'd to the bottom, and got these little cheese wedges to keep it from tilting too far back because it would open all the way. But yeah, I've got ring box from the show, and then the belt buckle from the Brick and Bronco episode. Me and my buddy worked on this
Cool.
together. And it's actually a real belt buckle. Will wore it. I was really proud of these 5-point stars. It was hard to get something this kind of small made for it, but it worked out with just some 2x3 wedges and tiles. And then this was the thing that got cut from that first holiday special. Is there was supposed to be a little gag of like Amy and Jamie gave Will a gift, and this was supposed to be one of them. It was a little gingerbread
Aw.
house.
Nice.
It also
Cool.
lights up with a little button on the back, but just a little ornament. And then a lot of times I sacrifice brick. So like the Fabuland light post that everybody loves, cut up and made into a candy cane light post. I think these ended up finally in the most recent holiday special. They were for a vignette for an earlier season. And then let's see, behind me, I'll pick this up. I have some blueprints from the show that I got Amy and Jamie to sign, which was a fun little thing to get to bring home.
That was spotted.
Yeah.
How were
yeah,
how were- Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it's just kind of how were Amy and Jamie? They seem like they're fun people.
They are great, and they are good to bounce ideas off of. If I've got something that I'm trying to figure out and can't quite get it to work, I'll go to them and be like, "Hey, how would you do this?" And it's really cool having that kind of knowledge on set that you can just go to and ask them. It's like they are fantastic at what they do.
The Lego Masters logo above your head, was that from the show as well, or is that just something you built?
It was from the Catropolis episode. It was on one of those green little stanchion things that the cats all got introed in on.
That was the best
Speaking
episode of all time, by the way. So.
Speaking of which, my cat is from that episode. One of my cats.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's cool.
Me and
he was
Dana are big cat.
Whiskers. Yeah, he was Dame Whiskers in the show. They didn't know, if they were male or female. But I brought him home and I named him Clutch Prowler. So, so he's Clutch. Oh, here, hold on. I'm being handed Clutch.
Big boy.
TV star.
He is. He's a good boy.
Man, it's been a while since we cat butted on the show, so that's awesome.
And then behind me, I have a Lego Clutch Prowler that's been modified to match him.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
But he's my favorite prop I've gotten to bring home.
Yeah.
Aw.
that's cool. So I mean, I'm pretty sure we just all heard it. We heard non-Lego parts, we heard gluing parts, we heard non-standard Lego lighting. What's going on with this show, man? Come on, this is not Lego.
Yeah.
So
And some-
one expression is people talk about herding cats. Were there any funny incidents with producing that particular episode where cats don't always do what you want them to do? Like on camera, it looked like the cats, played nice with the Lego builds, but I can only imagine some scenarios where the cats just have a will of their own and they're not going to go where you want them to go.
I don't have specific examples of
Okay.
that. My time during that episode was mostly spent in the green room cuddling cats, as was a
Oh,
lot of other people's. So, because there were 13 kittens on set that day, and it was the best.
There's a cat wrangler.
Yeah, there was some. It was Best Friends Animal Society. They're up in. They have a location in Marietta.
Okay.
They had come in with the kittens for the episode, but they handled all the wrangling of them. I know the beauties department did all the shots where they're playing with interacting with the cat city. So I was probably working on something else by that point.
Those
Were
were
you the
pro-
only one who? Sorry, were you the only one who adopted any or who adopted a cat that day?
There was one girl from Hair and Makeup that adopted a pair,
Oh,
Gotcha.
but that
Cool.
was it from the show. And I think they all pretty much got adopted like a week later at an adoption event at like a PetSmart or something.
All right. Chris, Dana shared a link if you can throw that into chat, and he shared it in private chat.
Yeah, because it wouldn't let me share it in the regular comments.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna throw that up there. Let me see if I can open that in another tab. I can. Can we look at Nick? Can we look at your Instagram? Is that okay? And then go
Yeah,
through
yeah,
maybe
that's
some
fine.
stuff there. All right. Let me
Yeah, of course.
old man talk. I gotta hit the button and
Well-
I gotta share the screen.
while he's pulling that up, was there anything about being like working behind the scenes of the show that like you were like, wow, I never realized that would take that much work? Was there anything that just really surprised you about watching a production like that take place?
I mean, like I said, it was my first show I ever worked on. So from day one, it was just the most amazing thing to get to do. And like the set is, I've worked on a bunch of shows and movies since, and that is still the coolest set I've ever been on.
Okay.
So
But,
let
yeah,
me catch me
it,
up. I'm starting to lose. My internet's getting a little wonk. You really didn't mock until you got hired on the show, right?
correct.
So
I've never made a single mock, honestly.
okay. So for this, you suck. Okay, let me just go ahead and say it.
The little bumps on the lid of that soft drink are the chef's kiss.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
those
yeah,
are
the
construction
hard
hats, aren't
hats.
they? Are those construction hats?
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
Yes. The one that's popped is sitting between a couple arches, and it's the mining helmet.
Awesome.
But it's the same one that's the same style as the construction hats.
Okay. So this goes to a theory that we've talked about a little bit. Coming in, not having like old I mean, I build studs up by default because that's what it was when I grew up, and I've been doing this for 40 something years, right? You're coming in a little with fresher eyes on the parts, so you're more apt to use really cool techniques and more. I mean, they're more your ready action go kind of thing, and so that makes really cool, interesting builds. And you suck. So anyway.
Chris is just saying you suck because it's not Waffle House. For the
No,
record,
that's true. They don't have hot, they don't have hot
No,
dogs
Chris
at
is
Waffle House.
Chris is saying you suck because he's hungry and he wishes he could eat that right now.
Well, it's also a rather common phrase that we have been using on the show forever, which equates to "I hate that guy," because he's doing it so well, we hate him, and that's it. So
Yeah.
welcome to the people we hate. So congratulations.
That's right.
Intense jealousy.
This is really cool. I love it. Thanks for you putting all the how you built it kind of stuff in there. It's impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah, I
cool.
always try to do that because I find some of the techniques fun, and like doing all the snot stuff. Like working on season 2, I remember Jamie talking about using snot techniques like to the contestants and like how they like to kind of grade a little more for that, like a little more intricate details. And I just everything I build, I try to get something snotty in,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's-
Yeah,
Is
so that. Go ahead.
Chris's internet cut out. We can still see him scrolling through, but his video's frozen. Sorry, that he's
Okay.
just amazed.
Yeah, that was a really fun project I got to work on. I got it through connections to Lego Masters. It was a holiday marketing thing Lego did with Nate Berkus and Jeremiah Brent. Nate Berkus is the interior designer. I think he got big through Oprah. And Jeremiah Brent is on Queer Eye. But they have a brownstone in Brooklyn and they decorated it for like this Lego holiday house.
Oh yeah,
And yeah, so they needed wreaths and snowflakes and baubles and all sorts of stuff, holiday themed, made for this. And I got contracted out to fly out to LA and work with Brandon and Jeff and another guy from the show and make some stuff for this. I kind of handled the wreaths pretty much all on my own. That was really fun. It was a great learning experience. That was a lot of brick for those. Each one of those is about 10 of the Lego wreath sets worth of parts. Because when you go up in volume, the scale is just, it's crazy how much extra you need. And then I got done with that and came home, and we were decorating for Halloween. And my fiance has the man-eating wreath from Nightmare Before Christmas, like a fake one. And I was like, as I was hanging, I was like, I can make this. Like, I'm good at wreaths now. I can do this. And made it. And then, like, I don't know, 3 days after I finished it, they announced that ideas contest for the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. And I was like, oh, perfect. Something to enter for it.
That's awesome.
There's the ring boxes from that most recent episode. I guess most recent is airing right now, but
Were you there when they had the episode where they had to build something from that that mimicked a real life object?
yes, I was. That was a really fun one.
Yeah, that some of the things that people chose, I was like, oh, that was a wise choice. Oh, I don't know about that choice.
Yeah, that was an interesting set of builds. There were some choices that I wouldn't have made because, like, that's too hard.
Right.
Yeah, we
Somebody
had
that likes doing replicas. Oof.
we had the gosh, now, and I know his name is just not coming to me, that built the rug, and
Sam's?
they
Sam.
they didn't finish,
Yes.
but they were throwing brick down like super fast.
They were.
I mean,
Yeah,
what
that
was
was-
that
that
like?
was
Were they
crazy to watch.
just on it, or were they that fast, or how did that happen?
I think the closer to the end of the episode got, the more they just had to scramble, and they just buckled up and did it. Like, it was impressive.
That was one of the good things when I went up to Toronto for Bricks in the Six. I got to meet both Sam and his mom, and I got a picture with both of them, and
Oh, nice.
it was nice. She was very sweet to talk to in person. I mean, so was Sam. I just about lost my finger, but yeah, it was great chatting with his mom. So
Okay, you're speaking
Yeah,
our
some of those
language
builds they
here.
made were.
Yeah, they are cool. You're speaking our language here with the ATL made out of chicken bones. I mean, this is
Yeah.
this speaks volumes. What was this for?
So that's, like I said, it's the first part of my next food thing. I've got that hot dog set that you showed, and then behind me I've got a Chicago dog, a foot long chili cheese dog, and a slaw dog on like a different tray. And I've kind of fallen into doing food, and I'm trying to do another tray, and I'm gonna have like some eaten wings and some regular wings sitting beside it, some sort of side. I'll probably make another one of my pickle spears that's on the Chicago dog to put on the tray. It's work in progress, but I kind of got those where I wanted, and I was like, oh, this is fun. So just a little preview of what I'm working on.
There's your pickle spears. It's cool.
Yeah, those pickles were that was interesting to do. So it's got 4 of those trans neon green headlight bricks that came out in one set in 2004 with 1 per set.
I believe it
Those
was
are fun to track down.
I think it was the Bounty Hunter chase set, if I'm not mistaken.
It was something Star Wars. I don't remember exactly which one, but
I think it's the Zam Wessel and Anakin cloud or chase, the cars chasing through Coruscant. I think because I have a couple of those specifically because of that. Because
I had to get those from Germany.
Yeah, they're hard to find.
Yes.
I'm curious. I'm curious because we are talking about an uncommon part. because you weren't a set builder more so, or you become more of a mocker since then. Are you finding that you're becoming more of a rare part connoisseur?
Yes, definitely. Like if you look at that Chicago dog, it's got sport peppers on it, and those are a pterodon jaw that came out in one set in 2018. The only time it came out in that olive green, and those were also fun to track down.
Yep.
So it's been a lot of that where I find the perfect part in studio, and then I look it up on Bricklink and I go, oh boy, all right.
I was just going to allude to that this is one of the downfalls of studio, because you were like,
Yes,
oh, this is
it
the
is.
perfect part, and it exists, and it's in one
Which
set.
is
Yep.
which is why I always poo-poo studio. I'm sorry. Where's the fail rover?
Yeah, I was headed there, but
Oh, thanks, Mary.
Chris.
But Studio does
You're
show
rusty.
you if it's an expensive part. It does color code the parts for
It does.
you.
It does now. It used to not.
Oh,
But it
okay.
doesn't
Yeah.
tell you anything about structural integrity.
No, it doesn't. And
There's
actually,
no gravity. There's no gravity.
I don't think Bricklink tells you whether it's an expensive or rare part, but Brickset does. No, wait a minute.
No, but
Rebrickable.
Studio does.
Rebrickable will tell you if it's a
Yeah.
rare or uncommon part. Yeah.
But Studio does have that in their software. Like they have rarer parts, or like at the very bottom, if you click on a part,
Yeah.
it shows you the Bricklink price, and it actually is color coded to say this is an inexpensive set part. I don't know what their logic is. It's like, is it a greater than X cents or something, or whatever? But
If you go to model info, it'll tell you the kind of average price of whatever you have in that specific studio file is going to cost.
Yeah,
Based
that
on
I
the
know that
prices.
they go by the average sold price, I think. Or is it no? They don't
Okay.
go by average sold price. They go by average part available is what how they calculate it.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, it's usually like ridiculously priced sometimes.
Mhm.
Then there's
this
just things you
was-
can't find in quantity, even if it is expensive and you need like 30 of them, and there's only like 20 in the entire world currently for sale. And you're just
Mhm.
like, SOL.
Yep, there
so
were like
which
that
season-
pterodon
which-
jaw. There was not a lot of.
Which season are we looking here? Is this the end of season or is this holiday special? What is this?
That was the holiday special that aired this past holiday.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yep. I got to bring my fiance on set, so we got some pictures on set together.
How much time did y'all have to turn around the studio from season to holiday season? Or is that something you say?
It's usually like just a handful of days. It is not much.
So is it like hang a few candy canes and some wreaths and you're ready to go?
No, it is. Well, I spend like once the season's kind of like done as far as builds go, I go straight into holiday mode and I'm designing and making stuff for holiday. Like the Winter Village, I have to put together every year and populate that with minifigs and all that. And let's see, seasons 2 and 3, I did all the sig figs for everybody, and like it just you're constantly just rolling from one thing to another.
Hey, were you the little Nero's pizza guy?
No, I was not. I'm not sure who actually was that, but I love Home Alone. It's like my favorite holiday movie, and I was like, I have to get a shot of the little Nero's hat. It's so cool to see on set.
Milk and cookies, very cool. Did Will keep the barn door closed on those jammies? We just need to make sure that's.
Not sure. I didn't pay that much attention.
So what time of the year were you filming the holiday? Was it like July and you're in there pretending like it's Christmas, or was it like at least in the fall?
Like seasons 3 and 4, it was like April, May-ish, like right after the regular season had finished. And then season 5 has been done for a while, so that was actually kind of around the time season 4 was airing.
There's
I I like the eyes on it.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, they kind of follow you. It's really, at least if you're kind of hunkered down a little bit, they follow real well. It's fun.
And you have Doggy too?
We did. He was our foster for a good while.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm just looking at for some mocks and stuff like that.
Oh, there. If you
I
scroll,
didn't know what's
back
going
up
on
the
here.
drum- that was the Flow episode.
Oh, the horrible
So-
Flow episode. Oh no.
They sent us this, cherub that was peeing, and the higher ups were like, we cannot have this in the show.
Oh no.
So, it got shipped to us from LA, and they're like, we have to change this to something else. So I spent a good bit of time rerouting the water to come out the side and built a watering can for it. And then somebody else covered the back end with like fake vines.
This would have been perfectly acceptable on the European version of the shows, I'm sure.
That's
Look,
Yeah, that was that. There were a lot of fun pictures taken during the setup
Look,
of that episode.
I've been to this doctor's appointment. Okay, so I mean,
Chemically bonded.
Yeah, further down the Instagram, there's a post about that episode. There's a lot more pictures of a bunch of different angles and different people having fun with it. Oh, and there's
You could-
Clutch.
You could view that in your private moments. How was this-
so the
how was
volcano
this-
episode? That was cool.
How was the Star Wars
Yeah,
stuff?
but-
Was that fun?
That was really cool. Fun to see on set. Like Brandon and his team did an amazing job. Like it was a 4-foot diameter Death Star. Like that thing was huge. Yeah, there it is. It was massive.
I would assume that thing's got to be really heavy.
Yeah, it had to be moved with a forklift.
It sounds like one of Jeff Van Winden's
Yep.
displays. Moved to
I
the-
am the forklift.
You are.
Your mom's a forklift.
And Brandon is one of the old guys. He's been in the hobby, back in the day, long ago. So it's
Mhm.
cool that he's been able to do this professionally and everything. Oh, there's Jeff. There's our friend Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the exploding bit, I don't know if you were working on this or not. Was it like super explosive-y, or was it just some air pressure? What was going on with that?
They had a special effects crew come in and handle all of that. I don't really know. I wasn't on set when they did the explosions.
Gotcha.
I remember for the Jurassic Park episode though, they brought the special effects guys in, and because all those builds were getting like blown up, there was something happened with that, and they had us all put like goggles and earplugs and everything in, and they did the first test when it was just this tiny little nothing. They obviously ramped it up, but that test, it was just so funny because we're all sitting there prepared, hunkered, and it was just this little nothing.
When with in the editing of the TV show, it looks like the contestants are very reasonably close to the explosion that's taking place, but I'm assuming they're either further back or there's some kind of like clear plastic shield between so that nobody gets blinded or anything. I mean, I know they're wearing goggles. But...
Yeah, there's no shield as far as I know. I think it's just goggles and the earmuffs.
Okay.
I'm not sure how far back they typically have them though.
Oh, is that your little guy?
Yes, it is.
There.
Oh.
Oh,
That was me meeting him in the green room.
And correction on
That's
the,
just
on
his
the comments.
favorite thing to do with the spring.
Correction on the comments on Studio. In the palette itself, it shows you a color coded. That if the name of the brick is color coded, then it's more expensive. So it's white and then yellow.
Okay.
So my bad.
is
That
this
must
guy
be you.
okay? I don't know. Is he okay? This is cool. This is
Yeah,
some
that was a little mock I did for one of the guys in the staging department wanted a mushroom for his desk and asked me to make one. And when it's mostly just Lowell sphere bits, but I like how it turned out.
All right. I guess this is the
Yeah, this is the one that has all the pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well done.
Strategically
Thank
placed.
Yeah. You can tell what he's
Yeah.
grabbing though. That's that's great.
I love that it made it all the way to being built and shipped before someone said,
Goodness.
yeah, we can't do that.
He was going to
Yeah.
be center stage too, taking a whiz on Fox. That's great.
They're
Yeah,
trying
I
to
think
change
there's
their
supposed to be a
reputation.
gag about that, and you know.
That's funny. Oh, look at you styling on the logo there. That's
Yeah.
Doing some breakdancing.
Oh
there?
yeah. Just goofing off after the finale.
nice. So, how high pressure and stressy is it filming? I mean, you said some of these challenges are filmed in a day. How
Yeah,
high pressure
it's-
stressy does that get?
It is chaos. I love the show, but it tests me every day I'm there. Like, for example, the Camp Click-a-Brick episode in season 3, we had what we call a Voltron, where it's a bunch of tables that all push together and make one big cohesive scene. And we had a waterfall that my buddy built as the centerpiece, because it was like 7 tables. It was 2 rows of 7 tables. The centerpiece was this waterfall he made. And an hour before filming starts, the director goes, "What if we moved the waterfall over to the side and added a mountain?
Oh,
What if we did?" Yeah, it's actually that one with the router right above where you're. Oh yeah, there's the peg leg that I built.
this right here.
Right over one, right in the middle. Yep.
You mean Will really
If you
does have
click
2
through,
feet?
That'll show the.
Oh,
You click
This
through to
hurts.
show the giant. Oh yeah, that all those burner tops
Turn it off.
so that they fit perfectly. It's
awesome.
it's all rounded base plate.
I
love
it. I love it. That is so good.
Yeah, so they got a burp mountain because it had to be built in an hour. So
That's just
yeah, I hid probably 100 frogs in that whole build. though.
I see him. That's awesome.
That's even better.
Yeah, all throughout. The tip of the mountain was even one. But like they're under flowers and just everywhere. Didn't get
Yeah.
focused on it all in the show, but I knew it was there. So
Right.
You were like, if you freeze the camera on frame 235 and zoom in, you could see the frogs. I once
Did you shape the mountain like flipping off
yeah,
the guy?
there
that
was our
decided
original
you should
plan
build
with
it?
the waterfall in the middle. What was that?
You build the mountain in the shape of flipping that guy off for making you build it. So
when I was in grad school, one of my grad school colleagues and his wife were extras in the movie Scream 2, which was shot on the campus of Agnes Scott. And so we all went to see it because our friends were in it. And we go through and they're like, "Oh, we were in that one crowd shot." And we're all like, "Yeah, okay, sure." They said, "No, if you freeze it and you zoom, we're over on the left hand." But they could tell where they were, but I couldn't identify their faces. Even when they froze it, it was I'm like, okay, we'll just believe you.
okay, so let me phrase.
That's
They don't show enough of the builds that the contestants make, on our opinion, on the show.
Yeah.
But they're not showing enough of this
Mhm.
too. That's darned impressive.
That's cool.
that is Brandon. Of course it is. Look at it.
Yeah, but still, they
Crazy
don't show
impressive.
enough of that.
Yeah, it's the amount of time that they give for the show. It's an hour time slot. It's just not enough. I wish there was
Well,
more.
There's power of editing that, but no, we won't talk about
They could take a little bit of Will out of the show, I think.
that, especially his mustache. So did you guys build the trees for these to hang in? Is that what this is?
So the trees were purchased. I don't remember what kind they were, but they were like special order. They look like Dr. Seuss. But I know we had a buyer going all around town, running to different nurseries trying to find the right pots so they all matched.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park. That's cool.
Yeah, that was a Brandon sign, and then I got to fill in the teeth and the claws a little bit because there's just not, once you go to dark orange, there's not much else past that till black, and just had to fill it in with black.
Oh, behind the scenes.
Yeah. The raptor.
Nice. I want to ask, is there any like big like kaboom or something that didn't make the show that, you know, you can tell that was like, holy cow, if that would have made it on air, it would have been, or, you know what I'm saying, or
not really. All the big stuff they try to get in. Yeah, not really, honestly.
all right, I haven't watched
the Caleb and Jacob running off the Derby was one of the best like big events that happened that they were able to catch. And yeah.
So I don't know if you remember Moto. Moto's been on the show before.
Yeah.
The stuff up with shields in front of the models. That's cool. Let's look up here. All right. So, here's a question you may not can say. Lego Masters Junior, is that going to happen? Is it in the can? Is that something you can comment on? I don't know.
I can't really comment on it.
Okay.
So no more.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
No. We don't want you to. We don't want you to get in trouble and everything. So, our friend, one of our friends from season 1 was in the ATL
Go ahead
area.
and do the name drop. Just drop the name. Everybody knows what we're talking about.
Okay, Boone was in the ATL. This was, I guess a year and a half ago and everything. And we were wondering, he wouldn't, say what he was doing, but we were wondering if he was a part of something like that. But filming was at the new studio in Atlanta for that, or where he was meeting was, and not in the old Hiram location. So, but we haven't heard anything for that. We didn't even think we were getting this season currently because it had gone, 18 months? Is that right?
Yeah, it was a long time. I was wondering.
So anyway, do you can tell us a little bit maybe how does the edit that we see, does it differ a lot? I mean, we've heard from contestants on the show and say, wow, I didn't react that way or whatever and everything. How different is the vibe with it live versus the TV show cut?
I mean, it's a ton of fun live. Honestly, the biggest difference to me is the golden brick. I don't know why they like to just shine that light on the golden brick so hard. They like they're rotoscoping it, but it just looks so bad on TV. Like that's, for me, that's the biggest thing. It's like, what are you doing? But yeah, like I said, a lot of times I'm not on set. I'm usually there for like some of the bigger things, like the Derby, but they've usually got me so busy that I'm just trying to catch up with stuff and not really able to do that. We've got a dresser that stays on set, and he's there for more of that stuff and handles those big things that come up. But yeah, I know they do a lot in editing, and it's not everybody's favorite, but
So I want to ask you a question about something not Lego. So you mentioned that you've done some other productions. Are you able to name what you've done, and how did your entry into Lego Master open up doors? Mr. Giddens, the Zoom, has a offspring who's interested in this particular business, and it's really grown in Atlanta. I mean, I was working with a group of students, and I learned that Georgia has the third largest film industry after New York and California, or California, New York, in that order. So it's become a real business here in Georgia. Share with us, your personal look at that business.
Yeah, so I will say since the writers and actors strike, it never really picked back up to the way it was before.
Okay.
So it has been slow, and I'm having to do some supplemental work here and there. But I've gotten to work on, was it The Naked Gun that comes out later this summer? I worked on. I did. I helped build something for Mr. Beast last summer. It still hasn't come out yet. Hopefully, it will at some point. There's a show, Grosse Pointe Garden Society, that just finished airing. I was working on that. It's an NBC show. Jerry and Marge Go Large, BMF, Our Little Secret on Netflix, Pain Hustlers on Netflix. I mean, you bounce around from show to show. You start to, it's weird. Like when you first start, you're like, I'm going to remember everything I ever worked on because it's the coolest job I've ever had. And then you're like, yeah, was I on that? I don't know about that. It starts to blend together. And then you run into people on set that you're like, what did I work with you on? Was it this? No. Was it that? Was it maybe I saw you at Hand Cook for lunch or something. I don't know. But yeah, I absolutely love working in film. It's been a great job, and I wish it was busier than it is, but it hasn't been quite the industry to jump into lately. I know a lot of very talented people that aren't working right now. And it's unfortunate, but hopefully it picks back up soon.
Who is
like
the?
I said, it fell into my lap from my best friend having done it for a long time and brought me on for Lego and brought me to other shows.
All right, coolest celeb encounter in your business.
On Pain Hustlers, there was Catherine O'Hara. And I didn't talk to her, but I saw her from a distance, and that was one of those like, oh, from like, because Beetlejuice was my favorite movie growing up, and then Home Alone was my favorite holiday movie, and like she was just an icon to me, and it was so cool to be like, she's right there. I got to walk past Bryan Cranston once, which was that's cool, I guess. And then Rainn Wilson was in line beside me at Crafty one day. Usually, I mean, if I'm interacting with celebrities, something is wrong because I'm there to build sets and get out before company rolls in. Usually, if I'm there, I'm either on set dressing, which is not my favorite job in the world to do because that's chaos, or they're filming something right beside like a room that we're still dressing. So like limited. Honestly, the one I've interacted the most with is probably Will Arnett, just because he's on set every day, and so would I.
So you're saying you like Canadian actors with Catherine O'Hara and Will Arnett?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Here in Atlanta, I bumped rub shoulders. One guy in my hockey team, he did some of the most recent. I think it was a Superman movie. He went up to I think it was Cleveland. He was up there for the shoot, so he missed a bunch of games. So we were unhappy about that, but because he's a good player. And another friend of a friend went to like a holiday party and ended up chatting. And he's a set dresser. He does a lot of period stuff. So if they say, we need a 1950s kitchen or we need a 1970s kitchen, they've got the warehouse with all the various props to give it that specificity of that particular year or decade.
Yeah, there's some specialty prop houses around that like, I need a, like pastel green fridge. Like, cool, we've got that and a stove.
Yeah, I got scooped once. I went out to this antique place in Monroe, Georgia, the Cotton Lofts, and they had this really cool ornate chair that had been in a Masonic lodge. The Grandmaster sat in it, and I'm like, I'm going to buy that and put it in my game room. And I go back, and they were like, prop guy bought it. Apparently it's going to be in such and such movie. And I watched the movie just to look for the chair.
And never
saw it.
That happens so much.
Totally got cut.
Yeah,
So
there was a pilot I worked on that we had this cabinet that was probably 800 pounds. And it was just a beast to move. And it was in this mansion that we had to pull it up the stairs on. It was a whole ordeal. Wasn't even in the show. It's like we spent so many man hours and so many people had to come help, and it didn't even show up. And like I said, I build stuff for the show for Lego Masters stuff, and it just never just goes into the ether somewhere.
And you know what's really sad is that that's not unique to just Hollywood type stuff, because I work in corporate America, and there are countless things that I've done and worked on that never see the light of day either. So it's just corporate America, and that's all Hollywood is as well. It's part of corporate America.
It actually is a meme of the show is we all want to do what Dana does, but we're not exactly sure what Dana does. So
Valid point.
Dana sits at home and works and gets paid probably more than us, and he stays at home and builds a Lego all day and has his phone on speakerphone while he sits there and does it.
Oh, no. I use headphones. I use headphones.
Oh, okay. He uses headphones.
They're noise canceling, so they cancel out the bricks being sorted and stuff like that. So yeah. Or I just go on mute, or somebody mutes me, kind of like Mark, Oh,
All right.
Chris, on a side note, did you open that triangle box I sent you?
Oh, you know what? We didn't get a chance to go and do our usual spin around and everything. I actually have Lego to build. I have a Lego stack here, but I wanted to say that I was presented by Dana with one of his sets that he had missed the fact that live on the show last time I was on the show, I ordered one. So now I have two. And
then you have one to give to Jake or something,
No, he didn't get it. But anyway. No, but I will open it. This.
It's a forgery of your Temu one.
And look, it's
another one of the awards in it. That's cool.
It's an authentic version, not just the ripped off version of the habitats.
You know what? I'm going to save this, but I'm going to show off my print off from the internet right over there. So
that high DPI quality version.
That's right. Actually, I should compare them.
With friends like these, Nick, I tell you.
Who did it better?
All right, we got a couple more minutes. I know, Steve, you said you had some stuff built. Does anybody got some stuff you want to talk about? Steve, what you got going on here?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. Well, I'll say one thing. Like last year, I had these stickers. So my new Doctor Strange mock, I made.
Oh, awesome!
Strange ones. So I'll be hanging those up.
So awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Great. And I know you would be a great one to talk about the new mystery minifig Spider-Man line, but we don't have official pictures of that. So
it was kind of cool. Like there's probably like maybe 6 or 7 people that sent me the same post from Instagram. Like it was kind of cool. Just like they saw and they thought of me. Yeah, Dana was one of them.
Yeah. Wait till you work at church and some lady builds a big church and it's going to come to your email like from grandmas and all this kind of stuff. Did you say this guy that made his Lego church? I have seen it 17 times today. Thank you very much.
Or there's a new Star Wars set and 8 of your friends who don't build Lego think you don't know about it, and so they have to tell you about it.
So I do have to say one thing before I forget. So this weekend, my lug had an event at the Timber Rattlers. It's like a minor league baseball team, and it was Star Wars Day. So we set up our table near the gates and whatever, and then the team hired a bunch of cosplayers.
It's the 501st
that dressed up as like Mandalorians and stormtroopers and all this stuff. And
I've done that.
One of the guys in our lug had a big. It wasn't Scarif, but it was some kind of rebel base. And at one point, like there was a Admiral Tarkin and the girl from the new Andor series, like a couple of Imperial officers, and then some stormtroopers came over and were like looking at it, like pretending to like get the schematics or whatever from the base. And one of the guys was dressed up as the Emperor, and he comes over to the table and goes, "Rebel base." It was pretty awesome.
Good time.
That's
great.
All. That's great.
I have blasphemy if you'd like to see some blasphemy.
Oh, it's so
Oh,
good.
you're
So
you
good.
you guys and all of your new Flego, man. I don't know what to do with y'all.
Hey, if it's
Oh,
quality,
it's-
quality. You know?
It's quality. I mean, I was impressed. Mine was blown. Hold on a second. Come into the very messy room here. One sec.
Is your fake Lego and your real Lego gonna cross mingle?
Nah,
No.
this will stay by itself.
Never cross the
Hold on.
streams.
More settings.
Although if you do cross the streams, you may want to build a flower pot in front of it so it pees out the side. But anyway,
So there it is. It is adorable. Adorable.
Get
You got
it?
your shojis. You got your everything is printed. There's no stickers.
It's so
Zero
hard.
stickers.
Is this the whole
I
fun?
mean,
This is the whole fun set.
there are Lumi bricks now, sir. Lumi bricks.
I'm glad they changed the name.
Oh, did they change the name?
Yeah.
yes,
They
did.
changed their name. The box
Oh.
still said Fun Hole, and I don't have the box. It's upstairs, but the box was super nice. Like there was art inside of it, and I mean, it is just the design is great. There's no one stud connection, and there's just so many cute little details. I think this pops off. The Daruma bot is making the ramen. More prints, more prints, but get in there. Get back on your jumpers. There you go. And I mean, you can get in the sushi restaurant,
Wow.
That's cool.
and then the upstairs has a hidden like drug deal going on here. For,
Now, you and I, you know better that is
It's a
because
cyber pizza.
you know that the space, you know, the storage space in Japan is very limited. So all their housing has secret hidey
I
holes.
thought that was an Anne Frank door.
No, it's I can't remember the name. I think it's called a kotatsu. It's a table with like its own little blanket. I'm sorry, to keep warm, and they can sit next to it. It's a little
Nice.
tea table. I mean, the only thing I can say is the white. You can see the white. It's just I think they cheap out a little bit on the pigmentation.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a little creamy white, but like everything else, like the sand green, is beautiful. I mean, it's
Mhm.
just more prints. Everything is a print. Everything. I mean, someone loves Cyberpunk who made this,
Yeah.
who designed it for them, because it's just you got the wall AC units, you got a little out of the window bonsai, and this roof. I love this roof. It does have like a unique jumper, translucent jumper.
Oh, cool.
Which we only have that in the 2x2 jumper, so I don't think we could probably do it with different elements here, like using the
Mhm.
1x2 grates. But I mean, that is it's gorgeous. I mean, it's gorgeous.
And I love that neon sign.
Mhm.
That's just so
Really
cool.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And they
I think
have their
the-
own bricks for wiring the lights through everything, and it's just I want those bricks to help me build my mod. So that's cool too.
Yeah, Jason Santi just got the one. It has like a dark kind of a chrome green on the top, and he's like, "This is a great color." He's like, "I would love to get my hands on more of this stuff." So I have
Yeah, I
downloaded.
mean,
Good.
and Jane liked it too, so I can say that I have good taste. No, I mean, go watch Jane's review, because I only did a small review because they asked me just to make an Instagram review. Jane has a full review, and he was not given the set like I was given the set. So I mean, again, the clutch is great. The only thing I could fault it with is the white. The white just they need to add more pigment, and I get it. That's cost. It's a lot of cost to make things white.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, I mean, all of these. I mean, it used to be where if you felt the bricks from a knockoff set, they just felt.
felt different. No, I could not.
No?
The only thing I could really feel the difference was that white, because it's just the pigment. I don't know. Maybe it was just me thinking they're different, but they're really. Oh, you want to show off your axolotl crocheting? And Natalie's been crocheting.
Oh right,
Aww.
Nice.
That's adorable.
it's got some legs or arms. I don't know what they are called. With the,
Their arms is it's gonna be an axolotl with like the little axolotl fin. So
It's cool.
looking good.
she's in her dark age, and she is now a crochet kid. So
That's
I go
great.
on Amazon. I get Amazon notifications, and it's like, "You've bought more yarn. It's going to be delivered today." It's like, who bought more yarn? Natalie.
Hmm.
But yarn is cheaper than Lego, I think.
It is, so I can't really complain.
Yeah.
There are worse hobbies.
There are.
Yeah.
There are.
There are.
Tell your kids to, if you get your kids into Lego, they can't afford drugs. So that's how it goes.
That's why
Sadly,
Keith-
I think my child could afford drugs and yarn. So
that's why it kept all of us out of drugs, because we had to choose and we chose Lego. So
That's right. Actually, probably drugs are cheaper, but anyway.
Well, I don't brew beer anymore because Lego is too expensive to allow me to afford to brew my own beer. So,
Right.
but,
you mean brewing your beer isn't cheaper than buying it in the store?
it used to be, but then like the craft beer market like exploded all over the country, and now you can get pretty much anything from anywhere in the country, where it used to be that you couldn't.
Do you think?
yeah,
Do you think crackheads are complaining about tariffs right now? I don't know.
I'm sure there's probably some issue with that somewhere.
Well,
probably.
how are they going to smuggle the drugs in if the cargo ships aren't coming from other countries? So they're
Yeah,
going to
no
use
cargo ship, no importing, and if they're cracking down on illegals crossing the border from Mexico, they're again
yeah.
lots
Drugs
of
are-
problems.
Drugs are going to go up.
That's right.
Well,
everything's going up. I'm sure
everything-
drugs are too.
They'll
This
be made domestically, and then
The
well, that's true. If
administration's
they can
going to
start making it domestically. Yeah,
the
that's the whole thing.
administration's really going to lose the heroin and cocaine voter block.
Mhm.
Because
Well, who
they're
are
out
you?
of the polls all the time, right?
That's right.
oh geez. All right. Hey, and by the way, I've got Lego. I have 3 real Lego sets to build. I have the Star Wars, I got the Blacktron, and I was gifted the A-frame house from a friend for a camp I went to and worked and everything. So I actually have Lego to build, and I have 2 of Dana's sets that I'll build one and then mock him with the other.
Oh, and by the way, if you guys follow Brooker Builds, there should be a new release tomorrow
Oh, okay.
that you may recognize when you see
Hmm.
it. That's
Nick,
moderately
we wanna
true.
Thank you, Nick. You want to thank you for coming on the show. You're
of course.
When we log off, by the way, it knocks you out of the stream while the loud credits go on. Just stick around. We'll have an after show and everything. But Nick, if you want to come back on anytime, be a regular on the show, you are more than welcome. Or you can go no. So it's fine either way.
No, it was a lot of fun.
Good. All right. Thanks
Thanks for
everybody
coming
for being here. Yeah, thanks for being here. Matt, thanks for inviting Nick on the show tonight. And if you have been watching Lego Masters, it's off for 15 minutes. And so welcome to the show, and we're leaving. Good night, everybody. Be awesome, build awesome, love your neighbor, and prepare yourself for loud noises.